3, 2, 1, 0, and liftoff.
Welcome to Mission Control, Peralta Design's podcast on all things branding and digital marketing. Since 2008, Peralta Design has launched hundreds of brands with award-winning identities and websites. Join our hosts Ramon and Jorge as they use decades of combined experience to tackle topics with past clients, industry partners, and the rest of the PD crew. At Peralta Design, we launch brands. But for now, let's launch right into this episode of Mission Control.
I am your host, Ramon Peralta from Peralta Design, and we launch brands. Very, very excited for our special guest that we have. He is a local celebrity. He's a community leader. He is a very astute businessman who has launched multiple offices throughout the state since opening his first location in 2003. Please help me welcome the president of Durango Insurance, Mr. Fabian Durango. All right.
Thank you. What an introduction, Ramon. I'm very honored to be here. Thank you very much for having me, and I look forward to this interview. This is amazing, this podcast.
So what do you think, Kev? You think we're going to keep rolling? Should we just keep going? All right, we'll keep it rolling because I think it sounds pretty good, you know. I nailed that intro, so I don't want to lose it. You know, to be honest. It was
amazing.
So,
send me the recording.
So, Fabian, tell us about yourself. Give us your backstory because we started getting into it during our little pre-gaming, but start us from as far back as you want.
All right. So I'm Fabian Durango, broker owner of Durango Insurance and Financial Services. I built the company in 2003 at 22 years old against all odds. My story is a little bit different than most insurance professionals. I got into the industry at 16 years old. It was not a family business. It was actually a punishment from my dad. Can you believe that? I got punished into an amazing industry.
I got hit with a belt. How did you get an insurance job?
I got hit too, man. I got hit too. I was a little old. You know, at 16 years old, your parents start thinking twice, you know?
No, he's like, let's make some money with this kid.
Yes, exactly. That's pretty much what he was thinking probably. So, you know, I was just like any kid into sports, school. Nothing bad, but I was a little knucklehead, so he took me out of the varsity basketball team. Yeah. He said, well, with all the free time you have now, you're just going to go and donate your time to my local insurance agent who will happily take your free services and go filing every day after school. Right. I mean, you could imagine. I was devastated. I was upset. Within the first week, I loved it. I fell in love with it right away because
at first you thought, like, I can't hang out with my friends. I got to go to work.
I was devastated. Yeah. I can't hang out with my friends. I can't play sports. You know, it was my junior year. I had all my credits. I had a few classes and electives. I purposely put all my classes early morning so I could have my afternoon free. I had everything all set up, you know. And here he comes and ruins my fun. But it was a blessing in disguise. Yeah. To be honest, I got into the office right away. They gave me a job to complete in like 2 weeks. I did it in a day and a half, which was organize a whole file room. So what do I do with all this free time? Right. I started helping out the front desk. And prior to technology taking over our industry, most people actually came into the office, made payments, and inquired about everything, mostly in person. So I'm a people person. I didn't know that back then. But I immediately started connecting with clients. And the owner of the agency called me to the office one day. I thought I was in trouble. He's like, Fabian, during the day when you're not here, clients are asking for you and refusing to speak to anyone else. What are you doing? So I thought I was in trouble. There he goes at 16 years old.
He actually wanted you to like work there full time.
Pretty much. He gave me business cards. He assigned me a desk. He's like, you do the file. You do the filing with your eyes closed. Just come in, get that out of the way, sit in the front, start studying for your exam. So I was literally within a year in, I was studying for my insurance license, my high school final exams, and right out of high school, I literally graduated and got my insurance license.
Wow. So you're like a Kevin Garnett. You went right from high school into the NBA. Basically.
Pretty much, yes.
Wow.
Yes. And went right into, taking care of customers and selling. And I didn't really look at it as selling, because still to this day, insurance is a very dark industry. People don't understand it, and I love educating customers. I like bringing light to darkness. I like providing a service.
Do you think insurance has a bad reputation?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And because insurance companies bank on the fact that people don't understand insurance, especially now. With technology is an amazing thing, but it's given the carriers an upper hand above the consumer to make everything look easy, fast, and cheap. However, they're putting a lot of fine print exclusions that they're not explaining to you. And if you're making those decisions on your own, you're taking all the risk. Right. You know, and it's not true that you're paying more for a local agent, a local broker to service you. That's completely false.
So that's a misconception?
Yeah. Big misconception. Yeah. You're not paying more for someone to service your policy locally. You're not paying more for a local agent to take care of
a Geico commercial or something where somebody's like, I'm just going to call the 800 number because if I see Fabian, he's a middleman.
He's a middleman, right.
Right. That's not like that.
It's not like that. Okay. Insurance rates are regulated by the insurance department. All insurance companies have to base the rate on risk factors, not service factors. And the fact is, Geico's not the cheapest. They just spend a lot of money advertising the fact that they are. And they do kind of want to get into the consumer's head that going direct is cheaper, and it's definitely not. You could pay less premium and have higher coverage, and a local agent service you better than going online.
So kudos to your dad for tough love. I believe in that too.
Yes.
I think we're too soft on kids these days. So, and look at you. You turned out to be, a mogul.
Thank you.
A mogul in the making. So we talked a little bit. I thought you were Dominican. So give our listeners your background a bit. Yes. Like you come from Caracas.
I come from Caracas, Venezuela, from an immigrant father. My father migrated from Peru to Venezuela for a better living, for a better future. He met my mother with his charm and convinced her, and they had me. Yeah. I was born in 1980. A very good time in Venezuela. Venezuela was one of the strongest economies in Latin America and all America, probably up there, United States, Canada, and Brazil at one point due to our oil. But corruption destroyed the country. Right. My father, being an immigrant, immediately saw the decline in the country, pretty much well-being. And he made a very harsh decision to drop a very successful career. My mother dropped a very successful career and come to the United States for a better tomorrow. Back then, people did not see it. They thought my parents were crazy. People were not leaving Venezuela. Venezuela, by nature, is a country full of immigrants. Actually, I have great Dominican friends that actually still live in Caracas, Italian, Portuguese.
I think a lot of Jewish people
very
Jewish.
In my building where I grew up, 2 floors were all full of Jewish immigrants, which were a very good friend of ours. So I tell people I grew up in a hot melting pot.
Diversity.
They're very diverse. Area of Caracas where, it was true middle class, hardworking people, mostly immigrants, actually. My whole building was mainly European.
Wow.
That was, that helped me kind of when I came here. It wasn't such a culture shock because I had already experienced different foods, different languages, different cultures. Every time I went to a friend's house, everybody had a different tradition. Some you take your shoes off. Some you went directly to the kitchen and had to eat something.
Kev wouldn't have a problem with that. That's how Kevin greets most of his visitors, with food. So that's wild. Now, what? Kudos again to your dad. I mean, I think we owe so much to our parents and their sacrifices, and we shouldn't squander what they went through so that we could be successful, and we should do something with it. You're definitely doing something with it. How do you go from this 16-year-old filing, and then all of a sudden getting business cards to owning multiple locations? Like, take us through that journey.
So Ramon, you hit a very critical point in my life. When that man handed me a business card with my name on it, with an address, with an extension, there was no email back then. It was 97. I said, this is something. This changed my life. This changed my life. I need to do something with this. I felt like I had to do something with this. So I immediately, on purpose, blocked all my friends, blocked all my social interaction activities, just make sure I got through school and focused all my energy in insurance. Mm-hmm. I was the last one to always leave the office. I will go home and read on insurance, and I just motivated.
You got like you got like a head start, because while other 16-year-olds are like drinking beer or driving around, playing video games.
I just wanted to play hide and go seek with the girls.
Okay,
and then study insurance.
Let's keep it PG. Okay. That's a different show.
I'm just kidding. I was like, insurance and girls, that's all I wanted to know.
Hey, well, I mean, you definitely, you had a job. The other guys didn't. So right away you rose to the top. So good for you. But,
thank you.
But so how long did you work at that place?
Yeah, so I worked at that place 2 years and a half between 1997 and 1999. Yeah. Immediately after I got my license, I got a phone call from another insurance owner who said, "Hey, Fabian, I met you working at this insurance agency. I just want you to know I called the owner before placing this phone call. I heard you were recently licensed. I'm starting my own company. I don't have much funds. You being young, newly licensed, would you be open to come to Norwalk?" At that time, I lived in Port Chester, New York, and work for me. I know you're going to college. Come September, I'm willing to work around your college schedule.
Wow.
So I said,
what do you think they saw in you that you were you just closing deals left and right? Did you just had energy that people gravitated towards you?
They saw the energy I brought to the table and how the customers reacted to it. Mm-hmm. I mean, all I was doing was helping the front girl process payments, make copies, greet people, and the customers just saw the natural energy. I guess at this point I will see the transparency, and they were like, "No, I want to speak to the young kid. I want to speak to el muchacho." Yeah, because the front desk representative would tell me what to say.
Was the demographic Latino population
diverse? Very diverse. Okay. It was Latino, Caucasian, Caribbean, West Indian. So it was very diverse.
Were you able to, bilingual? Did that help being?
Definitely, 150% being bilingual helped. Again, there was no Google. There was nowhere where people could get information about insurance, so they had to come.
The reputation amongst at least the inner city black and brown is we don't have insurance.
Correct. Correct. Very true.
The reputation is like, I don't really need that, and I don't have registration either. It's a stereotype. And here you are. I think a lot of that has to do with trust in our community, which is why a lot of immigrants keep money in a mattress. They don't have bank accounts, and you were able to kind of, I think by you speaking Spanish, being young and understanding, that gave them that trust that they needed, and you were educating them on insurance.
Correct. So they were able to identify that we come from the same place. Right. They were grateful that I will break everything down in a very professional manner, but yet connecting with them. And I will be tough too. I'll be like, you really want to run these type of risks? Do you really want to do this? And I will tell them, sometimes the front desk girl will give me like a sentence. I will make that into a 10-minute conversation. and that was to set the difference.
In other words, we're going to be here for a while, Kevin.
Yeah. Insurance brings that, and exactly that, changing people's perspective. Like, no, you're not going to get the policy and cancel it once you get the registration. Right. Matter of fact, let me go do the registration. And so as soon as I took on the full-time job as a licensed agent here in Connecticut and going to school, so big transition. You graduate high school, you go on to college, and you have a full-time job. Business. Okay. I studied business. I then started seeing the problem with DMV. And I started telling the business owner, hey, you don't mind, DMV opens at 7:15. A lot of clients have a lot of problems with DMV or will create a lot of problems for us. Can I just do DMV services? And she said, fine, as long as you're here by 9 a.m., I don't mind. It has nothing to do with my business. And that's how I still to this day have a very successful, let's say, branch off my business, which is the DMV.
Everyone hates going there.
Everyone hates it. Everyone hates DMV, including me, but we make it work. We don't have to like it. We
I feel like the employees there, they get a kick out of finding, you didn't sign this. So after you've waited like 3 hours, they just...
I think they look for that.
You don't have this, and then you got to leave. You know what I mean? Like that they don't make it easy. and it's I've been,
They get a kick. I think some of them.
I don't know. I don't know what it is.
When I used to go, I see what they do. It's not right. But right there, and that's my entrepreneurial spirit. I saw a need.
Exactly.
In business, like I told you earlier, I don't believe in sales. I believe in servicing. I believe in filling in a need and taking care of people. Right. And I saw that right away. So we started doing the D&V. We started doing the insurance. I was working and going to school. I mean, I didn't have a life. Between Monday and Saturday, I probably had 15 to 18-hour days very early on. So that kind of pretty much prepared me for when I opened up my own agency, because I was there for 4 years.
You worked right through school?
I worked right through school.
Wow.
I was there 4 years and a half, and then we had a top executive from an insurance company. Mind you, I'm almost 23 years old, and is there to show me a contract to open up my own insurance agency with Allstate.
Wow.
So again, they already got permission from my boss. The second time this happens, this time to say, hey, I know you're in college. This is unprecedented.
You're like the A-Rod of insurance. You
Pretty
got
much.
They're trading you, and they're like
they're making deals with me, man. Behind my back.
As long as you end up on top, man.
No, I have to say, it worked out in my favor. It was a blessing. Yes, it was all a blessing. Great people all along the way.
Yeah.
I had great support. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I never really had a mentor. I never really had somebody hold my hand. I know many people ask me. I didn't really have that. I had my mother support me. I'm a man of faith. God first. I just believe God put so many great people in my path that supported me, and was there for me, because, at this agency where I started, it was just me and the owner, and we were so busy. I had to figure things out on my own. We're one of the top homeowner insurance agencies in the state of Connecticut right now by volume, by premium. And my first homeowner's policy, I wrote it with technical support on one line and underwriting in another. Nobody ever said, Fabian, this is how you quote. Yeah. This is how you manage a homeowner's policy on a system and issue it. I had to figure it out on my own, but I was blessed to have people give me great opportunities. So this gentleman comes and he's presenting everything to me to open up my own Allstate agency. I'm like, I thought we were just going out for lunch because, we've had such a good year, et cetera. And then he pulls out a contract and says, we're willing to have you start right away. This is May. He's like, we're ready to have you start training in July, have your office open on September. And no money in the bank account. I just bought a house, so I had no money in the bank. But they believed in me. They believed in what I can bring to the table. They made a lot of exceptions. I immediately dropped everything, opened up my own agency, and I was there with Allstate for 5 years. And I thanked them for everything, the platform they gave me. I opened up my own business in Fairfield, but then I wanted to keep growing.
What made you? That's the part that I want to really get down to. I have other questions, but there are some people, and this has been on my heart for about 2 weeks, because I have some dear friends that are business owners, that when they go on vacation, they shut down their business. Oh, I'm going into New York City today with the family. We're closed.
I'm golfing,
or I'm golfing, or I'm sick, or any day off, they shut down, and I don't understand that. So what was your mentality to make you feel like this isn't enough? Like I need to go bigger. What drove that?
The feedback from the customers. It was not me. And I'm a believer in that you put everything out, and what you get in return, that's what you work with. So, we built our business, and being out of Fairfield, most of my clients were from Lower Fairfield County, the other half the greater Bridgeport area. So I said, hey, I have the same amount of clients in Stamford, Norwalk, as I do in the 2 zip codes that I'm next to where my office is. Obviously, I need to tap in and grow, and I need to go into that market to properly service it. And I did some research, and it was just natural that based on our policy count and our growth in Stamford, Norwalk, that we should open up in Stamford, Norwalk.
That's a great point, because it's driven by it's not your ego. It's not I want to own property. It's I need to better service my clients. That's what's motivating you. But how is it that you service them? Do you need a physical location so that they can walk in?
So back then, technology wasn't as played a major role in our industry as it does now. Okay, so back then, technology and everything that I do now remotely was not in place. So yes, in order to retain customers, service them better, not have them go through the heartache of getting on 95 for a half hour, an hour to come see me, it was crucial that we opened up a brick and mortar. So we can better service our clients. And it's all about the client. I'm client-centric. It's all about the client. How can I best service a client? How can I best service a geographical area? What is the need? Am I fulfilling a need? Like you said, it's not about me going in there to crush the market. I mean, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. That's the fire in me, but the first is the customer. If I'm not meeting customers' needs, there's no reason for me to have a brick and mortar anywhere. and so then we opened up. We went to Allstate wanting to expand, and they pretty much shut me down.
Really?
So I said, thank you. I appreciate everything you've done for me. And I did something very unprecedented with a 1-month-old daughter. I canceled my contract and went 100% independent to expand.
Wow.
So I canceled my contract. Of course, I got paid for it, but I walked away from everything I had built with them.
Right.
And I went down to Norwalk and started my first fully independent Durango Insurance branch. Wow. And that was probably one of the scariest things ever.
Sure.
But my wife and my mom were by my side.
Yeah.
They're like, if you fall, don't worry. You'll get up and we'll be right by side.
So I have questions. So
yeah.
I understand your fire, your passion. I think you're wired for it. I think entrepreneurs, we're okay. We can go to sleep at night with all this stuff in our heads, and other people are like, I don't want to deal with any of that. Tell me about access to capital. Tell me, you didn't have a mentor, so how did you even go about finding a location? Did you contact?
It was very hard.
Like just for our listeners that have no clue.
So guys, you got to believe in yourself first.
Right.
You got to wake up, have confidence in yourself, pray to your higher power, your God, give you the strength. I knocked on a lot of doors, and a lot of them were shut in my face. I got laughed at when I asked about a space to rent. I was 23 years old. I pulled up in an older model vehicle, and here I am asking to rent a space. But I think I was always very entrepreneurial. I think I see numbers immediately. I walk in a restaurant, I can already kind of tell what's their gross income.
Volume. Yeah.
It's just
you're looking at tables and you're multiplying it by plates and
in the bar. How big is the bar?
Exactly.
How many bartenders they got? What are they producing? So, of course, I couldn't afford a, let's say a corporate office. I couldn't go into prime real estate. Say, I'm a small business. I'm going to knock on small business stores. So a lot of the places I went for rent were smaller Main Street locations, one owner. And, that was the way I started, and it paid off. I finally met a guy who was impressed. He's like, you're starting this business? This is all you? I was like, yes. I was like, here's my letter from Allstate. He read it. He's like, say no more. He's like, I was always pitching my regional guy. My regional guy will come meet. He's like, I don't need to meet him. You have your 2 months rent deposit and your first month's rent.
Did you feel like you followed, because there's something, if you read in between the lines, you before you did your own thing, you worked with a trusted brand, Allstate. You had to have that kind of leverage, that reputation. It's still part of your story. Everybody knows Allstate. It's a big brand. You didn't go from like, graduate college, I'm going to go open my own place. You had to follow. So I'm assuming that you learned some of the ways of the franchise from Allstate, and that some of that, even though that didn't pan out, I think that it's safe to say that there were some, even though you didn't have a mentor and you were young, I think that the structure that was presented with the Allstate way, let's call it,
right.
Whether you saw things that were good or bad, I think that definitely had to have influenced you in how you ran your own shop.
Right. So you hit a very crucial point. So Allstate, what gave me was the platform to run the insurance side of the business, not the business side.
Gotcha.
And they did not want to get involved in the business side. In fact, that year when I opened up my agency is when they fully signed subcontractors. Because first you were an employee for the first 2 years, and then you went fully independent. I started with one of the few contracts in the state that year that I was fully independent. So Allstate was a blessing in regards to the platform. They set up the computers, the form, the technology, the systems. I didn't have to worry about any of that. They actually hired a third-party company to set up all the technology, the systems, the software, the hardware, the IT room. I didn't have even internet, phones, but negotiating a lease, renovating desks, hiring, human resources.
Where'd you learn that?
Trial and error.
Yeah.
Experience. I made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah,
yes.
The school of hard knocks.
Yes, a lot of mistakes, and I always tell people I want to learn from a mistake, and I want to be better from a mistake. I'm not going to dwell on it. A bad mistake's ones you commit twice and you know it's wrong, right? First time around is just experience. You're gaining experience. So I gained a lot of experience on my own on that end, and I do think Allstate for the platform. But what made me break, and it's nothing bad, is just that I was an elephant in the room. I wanted to keep doing my own thing. I wanted to keep doing things my own way. And I was just always told, no, that's not the way. In fact, they used to get mad because I never used the co-op marketing dollars because I never advertised with their logo.
Co-brand.
I always advertised with the Durango logo. And I only did it because I was always the local guy. I'm local. You come to me because of Durango Insurance and what I bring to the table. I'm backed by a great brand.
They wanted it the other way.
Correct.
Their logo
they sat
big
me
and
down
in
many small rooms, with a spotlight on my head, like, you're not advertising with the. People follow me. I'm sorry.
There's a guy with a baseball bat, and he's got like the Allstate logo on.
Yeah.
He's like in a dark room. It's like.
They tried.
I'm just making this up, folks.
No. It's a joke. No, but it's the corporate way, and I get it. And that's why I thank them for everything, but it was time to go my way. And I still believe in branding, like Progressive. Progressive is it's the number 3 largest insurance carrier in the country. They're an amazing company. Believe it or not, Geico buys technology off of them. And we're very proud to be their number 1 distribution channel in the state of Connecticut on auto, home, and I believe still commercial.
That's huge.
And we brand with them, but they're not our only carrier. They provide a lot of support. They provide a lot of training. They provide a lot of resources, but I still have the freedom to do what I want in a good way.
Where did you get your color from? It's blue.
Blue.
Right?
I love blue.
Did you get it from
So you're
Progressive?
red, I'm blue.
I know, but Allstate is blue. I think Progressive's blue.
Since I was a kid, I don't know if it's a
I'll
Yankee
tell you the
thing.
psychology behind it.
Got it. Please do, because my
blue,
mom was a Yankee fan, so
right.
blue was a must in my house.
I love your mom already.
Thanks.
It's a very the psychology behind blue is trust.
Got it.
It makes people trust. That's why police uniforms are blue, even though that's a whole nother conversation. They're supposed to be trustworthy, and you'll see financial institutions are either blue or green. It's cool, it's calming, it's trusting. So there's a psychology, and I think it's also subconsciously connecting to these other brands that people may be more familiar with. You know, when they see Geico, that's in blue, and Progressive's in blue, and Allstate, I think, and then Durango,
it's blue,
royal
blue, baby.
You're in that.
I'm in that space.
You're in that space, and you're building a very, very strong brand.
Thank you.
So you got your first location, and then how soon after that did you feel like you needed a new one?
So so the purpose of breaking from Allstate was to continue to serve our clients better. Mm-hmm. So I started off in Norwalk.
Okay.
So I figured my Stanford clients will come, which was our largest zip code where we have policy holders. And then I'm able to be in Norwalk, not too far from Fairfield, where my first office was. And then immediately I waited a little longer than expected. It took me about 4 years to expand, but it was my 10th year anniversary. And it's like, that entrepreneur, you're uncomfortable. You got to get uncomfortable, right, Ramon? If you're comfortable, it's good to be comfortable, but you got to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation to grow. So I said, it's my 10th year mark. Do I want to continue doing this, or do I want to step completely out the box, lose a little bit of sleep, get a little bit of stress, one more gray hair, and start expanding, right? And I just went for it. I was like, it's our 10th year anniversary, and I went hard. I mean, I went hard only because I was prepared. So then from there, we opened up Bridgeport, which was our second zip code where we had the most policy holders. The Bridgeport area, which I mean Bridgeport, Trumbull, Stratford. Then we did Stanford, So we finally come home kind of in a way. We opened up our branch in Stamford and then New Britain. And we did New Britain only because we had a key partnership with a tax office and we bought their book of business for insurance. Very small book of business, but it still gave us market penetration. I really didn't think the New Britain office was going to pan out for long, but it's still operating to this day. So we did 3 grand openings in a week.
Wow.
For all 3 locations, 3 build outs, 3 desks, 3 everything. And actually it was very efficient because at one shot I remodeled, one shot I ordered furniture, one shot set up computers.
Well, I remember during COVID you reached out and I connected you to Modern Plastics.
Amazing. Thank you for that connection.
Like plexi and all that.
Yeah.
So any effects, like did COVID hurt or help you?
So COVID scared us stuff out of me. Yeah, because believe it or not, insurance is, I have peers in the industry that have a brick and mortar, but they don't really utilize it. Like their clients are all, let's just say, paperless, digital, phone, email. But given that my industry is going that way, I'm continuing the traditional way and paying out because people don't have that much brick and mortars anymore. Okay, so
it's become a differentiator for you.
Yes,
you have a location.
Because I'm standing out. People do have a place to come, whether it's to make a payment, solve a problem, or simply sit down and discuss 4 policies that they're looking to switch. Our waiting room is very diverse. You have a client that's just looking to register and insure their first car, and you have a millionaire that's looking to look how we can help them protect their assets better, or clear some questions they may have. So COVID scared me because I made the harsh decision to close all 5 locations. The staff didn't want to go home. So we started ordering laptops, this and that. And when we ran short on laptops, the staff actually said, look, as long as you keep the doors closed and 1 person per office, meaning they were not in the same area, we'll come to work. That was most of them, I would say more than half. Yeah, 75% of staff kept coming to the office behind closed doors. And I mean, people were knocking on our doors, pretty much tearing down the wall. So that was scary, knowing that I was most likely losing or not servicing my clients the way they were. But my staff, I have to give it up for my staff. They're the reasons why I'm here. Yes, it's been my drive, my vision, my ability to manage risk, to be where I'm at. But if it's not for my staff, I will not be where I'm at. Amen. So at this point, I had a conversation with them and said, look, we're going to work behind closed doors. We're going to work harder, but we're going to also keep the business alive. I don't know how long this is going to last, right? I'm pretty sure you didn't know in April of last year where we were going to be. We all decided to work a 12-hour shift with a 2-hour break in between. So we did from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and we just made things work. At that point, we were not generating any new business. We were actually losing business. I was very scared. But one thing COVID made me do was turn to technology, something I had never truly relied on. I only did enough technology to run my business, not to expand or grow my business. So I immediately got on the phone with my IT company, got on the phone with new vendors. I reached out to you to prepare to reopen. You refer me to Modern Plastics. I just started reaching out to a whole bunch of people, getting educated once again, kind of going to basics and seeing what can I put in place. So we put in a lot of technology in place, new processes in place to be able to service clients remotely, but still give that personal touch. And it paid off because now that we reopen our doors, we're servicing customers even better and more efficiently through the use of technology. So technology played a major role in us staying in business.
Yeah, awesome. All right, let's go into the lightning round here. Give us a Durango Insurance success story. Tell me a good story of someone you helped.
Got it.
A customer.
So we help a lot of business owners, but I will have to say we had a client who bought a home. It was a high ranch, and he was fighting us over $80.
What do you mean?
So he was comparing on a premium,
okay.
$80 a year on a $500,000 house, beautiful home. High ranch is where the lower level is fully finished.
Right.
He had sewer, water, and he was comparing me side by side with another agency, but the same company, he saw an $80 difference. And that $80 difference was a water backup coverage, meaning if your sewer backed up.
That your policy had, but the other one didn't.
Right, correct. The other policy didn't have the water backup. So he was like, nope, if you don't get it down to that, we're not going to go with you, blah, 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 blah. So I got on the phone with the wife. I got on the phone with the mortgage broker, and they were like, no, you need to go with this policy, etc. The wife went and took the policy. He called me to pretty much curse me out.
Wow.
Guess what happened 2 months later?
Water backed up.
$40,000 claim.
Wow.
The guy apologized. To this day, we're
you
friends.
Saved him $40,000.
I saved him $40,000.
Wow.
Because I just made that extra step. Like, I called the mortgage broker. I explained the situation. I called the wife. And then I was like, look, your husband wants this. This is not saving money. You're cutting yourself short. And thank God, the mortgage broker kind of pitched it, and they bought it. And he called me to say, Fabian, I have to put in a claim. You won't forget. You won't believe what it is. My sump pump fell, my water backed up, and my basement's pretty much under a foot or two of water.
Oh, my God.
So we covered it. So
that's incredible.
So that goes to show you that, like what I said earlier, having a local agent looking out for your best interest doesn't cost you more, technically. Mm-hmm. It's just we provide more. we provide beyond the premium.
It's a great story. Now, when people think of Durango Insurance, what do you think they think of, and what do you want them to think of?
When people think Durango Insurance, I think they think personalized service. I'm having somebody personally take care of me. Mm. I do see that just across the board, whether they decide to go with me or not. What I want them to think of me, trust. Mm. I want them to understand I want the best for them. I want them to trust me. They don't necessarily have to go with me. So I want them to understand I want to be more of an advisor. Guess what I'm looking for? Look for Durango Insurance should be someone you go to for advice, especially insurance advice, because we provide a lot of small business owners with a lot of advice. Why? Because of my trial and error stage in the beginning of me opening up my business. So I bring that to the table when I speak to a small business owner.
What makes you happy?
Three things. Seeing my customers get a benefit out of working with us, that's very satisfactory. I still go and sit in the front desk of every office just to see the interaction of what's going on, Second, my staff, knowing that my staff have job security. Some of them have grown from fighting with me every day to buying their own home. Or some of them just being grateful for the opportunity. I like to create opportunities because I was given a lot of opportunities when didn't necessarily have to be given some. And then third, seeing my family happy with the balance in the lifestyle we live, even though it's not ideal. Daddy works odd hours. Mommy works odd hours. But mommy and daddy are there also.
Yeah. So is mommy part of the business?
She's a key component. Yeah. So the reason why I'm here is because she's in the office. Okay. We respect each other. People are so surprised how cold we are when it comes to business, where she knows her role, I know my role. We don't step on each other's foot. Mm-hmm. We can have a little argument at work. I still sleep in the bed, and vice versa. If I have to sleep in the couch one day, when I go to work, it's all respect and love. And we know how to wear each other's hats because we don't step on each other's toes when it comes to what we do at work.
Right. That's rare. That's an amazing partnership that you have. Now, if you had a crystal ball for the future of Durango, what do you see in the future?
I would love to see expansion, but still with the personal touch involved. So I would like to expand, maybe a call center, just for the service aspect of the business, and continuing to build. I don't want to call them sales locations, but more of more brick and mortar, but for sales purposes, and then have a back end office to support all the service, so my agents in person can have more time with customers.
Excellent.
Yep.
All right. Well, we're getting close to the end here, and I want to give you this opportunity to kind of tell us what an ideal client is, because you do a lot beyond personal, home, commercial. I think you even mentioned some financial planning. Give us a sense of who the ideal client is and what is the best way for them to reach you.
Excellent. Thank you. So like you said, I'm very diverse when it comes to insurance. So any insurance need, I'm happy to sit down with anyone and discuss them, whether you're a beginner or you have a policy in place. The ideal customer is someone who has their auto policy, their home policy. They haven't reviewed it maybe in 3 to 5 years. They truly don't understand it. They just bought it because they thought it was the best price. And I could sit down with them, go over their current policy, then give them an option B where we can better the coverage, improve the price, and give them better service. And same goes for commercial. That's the concept. That's my ideal client. And it's very easy to reach me. You can call me or text me directly, 203-667-9953. My office number is 203-517-4545. And you can find us easily on social media, Durango Agency on Instagram, Durango Agency on Facebook, and DurangoAgency.com on the web. And you can email us or contact us via social media and website.
Awesome. Last thing, I want you to fire up our entrepreneurs that are listening there. So give them some advice for those that are on the fence or thinking about starting their own business.
First of all, keep the fire lit. Don't listen to anyone. I had more people tell me not to go on my own. I had more people tell me not to take the risk. I got so many people telling me negative things. Listen to yourself. Listen to your heart. Second, once you got the drive going, just make sure you identify your need for penetrating that market or going into the business that you're going into. And it's okay to have a plan B, to have your plan A work. That's very key. So it's okay to take risks. Just make sure you have a backup plan just in case the risk goes the other way and you could keep it moving. That's my best advice.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for making it down here.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It's been a blast having you on our show.
Thank you, Ramon. I appreciate it. I'm honored to be here, honestly. Thank you to you and your team for having me.
Thank you, Fabian. All the best to you, man. Thank you. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode of Mission Control. Until next time, this is Ramon Peralta with Peralta Design, and we launch brands.
Thank you for taking this journey with us. To learn more about Peralta Design and our work, go to www.peraltadesign.com and subscribe to keep up with the crew.